Hello and welcome to the Rhythm Factory. I'm Eddie C, and together with my co-host Peter D, we're going to bring you in touch with people in and around the music business. This is the podcast that takes you up close and personal. Hello everybody, and welcome once again to the Rhythm Factory podcast. The podcast that takes you up close and personal with people in and around the music industry. And to my far right, my good friend, Mr. Peter Dopa. And of course, my name's Eddie C. And our special guest for today is Miss Sarah Lavinia Feenstra, vocalist, rock drummer, and just great person to hang out with. All right. Glad to have you in the show, Sarah. I mean, we've been friends on Facebook for some years now, but we never really met face to face until now. Mm-hmm. And of course, Peter, you guys know each other from out the business, as colleague drummers. I know that you went to school with your drum school. You had lessons from Hans Eikenaar, who's a good colleague of mine. Because Hans and I worked together with Gino. But Hans is known for his power drumming, and you being a rock drummer. Yes. How has he influenced you in during the period that you had lessons from him?
Well, he has been a big influence for a long time, because before I started going to Rotterdam, to the conservatory, I was a big fan of Anouk. Right. And so I saw him playing there, and I just thought that was great. I want to be like that. Right. So when he became my teacher, I was thrilled. I was like, yeah, he's the guy, you know?
All right.
So, he's been an influence in a big way, because the way he plays, his attitude, I really like that.
He's a good businessman as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he should be, so. Yeah.
Because he made this app, which did very well for the smartphones.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I have Android, so I don't.
Me too. Yeah, I saw you had the same Samsung.
Yeah, that's true. But
there are two camps.
It worked out pretty great for him. Yeah, for many drummers.
And he's still playing quite a lot on the television shows and stuff like that.
He's very busy.
Yeah.
He's very busy. I think to see what he's been doing, like the last couple of years, all the stuff he's been doing, that's a big influence as well. Because he is a very hard worker, and I think that is something to admire. Mm-hmm. To be a great worker, big worker, and to do a lot of stuff.
Well, a lot of people think that musicians, the expression that you sometimes hear from the so-called father-in-law what do you do for work? I'm a musician. But what do you do for work?
That happens a lot.
Yeah. I'm sure we've all heard that at one point. But I mean, we musicians work hard. We work hard. We use a lot of energy. There's a lot of emotion involved. There's a lot of passion involved. And a lot of people don't realize the hard work that is involved.
They don't see that, because they only see the fun we have.
Yeah. Exactly.
But they don't see the hours. The hours we make,
the frustrations and the disappointments you go through trying to get to achieve your project. Yeah. Okay.
Well, and there's another part, and especially for you as a female, I guess. I mean, we go way back. I mean, it's 10 years,
something like that. Yeah, something like that.
I used to see you a lot on the conservatory in Rotterdam, and it was like Eddie said in the introduction. It was great to hang out with a group of people, and you were always there, and we're having a good laugh and some good conversations. But you chose a very masculine instrument, and you chose a profession actually that is still ruled, unfortunately, by a lot of male dominance.
Yeah, that's true.
And I always wondered at the time at the conservatory, but also now, how you stand your ground in a business and still stay feminine.
Yeah, well, the first thing that I did was not see myself as a female in the drum industry. I am a drummer, just like all the other guys. Because if you act like some sort of, it's not really like a victim, but act like, you know, I'm a female in a male industry,
Yeah.
then you're already behind.
Yeah.
You know, I always treated myself and been treated as one of the guys. So that's the main thing. Don't see yourself as a female in the drum industry. You are a drummer.
Right.
First,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But do you experience things like, you know, people who act different on it, like being a female drummer? They
Yeah.
maybe don't expect it, or
Well, it goes two ways. There are people like when I perform, they're like, "Oh, that's a girl. Well, let's see what she can do." You know?
yeah,
That's one.
Yeah.
But then the other hand, you have people who are like, "Wow, that's a girl. Yay!" You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So then you're already ahead. So it goes two ways, and I don't let it get to me that much. I just do, and that's it.
I think that's the best way to
Well,
do
that's
it.
good,
Like,
yeah.
you know, just go with the flow and
Yeah.
be
Exactly.
one of the guys, but still.
Yeah,
be
otherwise you
feminine
go
and-
mentally like
Yeah.
crazy, you know, because
Yeah.
everybody has something to say about it,
Sure.
and
yeah.
just go with your flow and what you want to do, and keep your eyes and your ears open.
Yeah.
Yeah. At all
at all
times.
times.
Yeah.
Well, you can always say to a lot of your male colleagues that you know, say, you can always say, well, I got the long hair and I can prove it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
you can always tell them that as well. No, but I mean, it's I admire musicians for the talent, and I don't try to draw a line from I'm one of my students who's doing quite well as a percussion player. She's kid 17, and she's actually in one of our earlier shows that are coming out. You know,
Oh,
it's coming
nice.
out. Danny Kos. She's doing fantastic work, you know.
Yeah.
And she's got a great future ahead, you know.
Absolutely.
So you know, the whole thing about music is it's. I always feel that it has no borders, you know, no colors, no races, no creed, no color, no gender. It's music.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And when people look at it from that standpoint, that's the magic. That's what makes it makes it all come together.
That's what you know, for instance, Prince. That's why I like Prince so much.
Yeah.
At one point, he had a total female band.
Yeah.
You know, Rhonda Scott on the bass and Sheila E on the drums.
Yeah.
Man, that was groovy.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, just to underline that there are no
That's
borders
right.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's cool. He's actually one of the artists that that gives them a chance and and wants to show that it doesn't matter
Right.
Exactly.
what you are or who you are.
Yeah.
And that's really cool because he gives them a place
Yeah.
to show themselves
Absolutely.
and prove people wrong, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's really cool. But it doesn't really mean that I don't let it get to me, but I can use it as well, you know. I'm also like a little businesswoman, you know, because I know the tricks, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Of course, it helps. Sometimes it helps to
Yeah.
to show them that you're a female
Sure.
playing
Yeah,
drums or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I mean, it's I mean, you're also singing. You got a rocky voice as well, so that's another, let's say, hidden treasure of yours that you're bringing more out. So that's also an advantage of being a drummer. And I think also, I always tell drummers have an advantage when it comes to timing if they're singers as well, because it gives them just that little extra edge sometimes to be able to go in the little corners where a singer that's, for example, not a drummer.
Absolutely, you can play around
Yeah.
with the melody in
Well,
timing as well.
Right.
And that's cool.
Because you can have a large range vocally and be able to do all kind of little dips and dobs. But if the timing ain't there, man, it's just a couple of notes that got lost along the way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, listen, you're also working with another colleague, not only of yours, but a guy I worked with in recording studios back in the day with the Golden Earring. With Saves for Saturday.
Yes,
We've done some workshops together way in the back, and of course I played on some of the Earrings albums and presented them with the Lifetime Achievement Award after I had gotten it. which I don't know how that worked.
Yeah.
But doesn't matter. But the nice thing about it, you're busy with a whole completely different concept together with Caesar. And it has to do with senior citizens and about rhythm and everything. Can you tell us something about this project? Because I only know little bits and pieces of it. But.
Well, I tell a little bit about Caesar and me as well. Like, I know him for like 15 years right now, and he's turning in some kind of my grandpa because we have that relationship, not because he's getting older, but
yeah, good to mention that, by the way.
But no, he became a friend of mine, really, and I began playing drums at his school.
Okay.
And then when I got to the conservatory in Rotterdam, I began to teach at his place. And since then we did some workshops and stuff. And now he developed like a workshop or a workshop for little kids to keep them moving.
Right.
You know. Right. Instead of having exercise classes, they can do some rhythmical moving stuff, you know.
Okay.
And I worked in an elderly home for a couple of years, and I thought, well, maybe we can combine those two, and so we gave a workshop at the elderly home where I worked, and it turned out pretty cool.
All right.
Because they need exercise and
absolutely.
To develop a program for them to stay in touch with music and do some rhythmical stuff and movements. That was great. It was really cool. So we're trying to develop that program and maybe try that in different elderly homes.
All right.
And we'll see what happens.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But it was great. It's really cool. Yeah. They really liked it, and it's something different. Yeah.
It's almost.
There are some films on YouTube about old guys that don't talk anymore, don't move anymore, and when they hear music, they immediately change, and they start to look brighter and stuff, you know. And we try to combine music with movement and stuff, so that they they still live, you know. They need the attention and the
it's
exercises.
Also a brain exercise, I guess, for the elderly to you know.
At this point, I'm trying to study more musical therapy for old people who are losing their vision and minds and stuff, and I'm trying to fit in some pattern that I can help them to keep their brain trained.
Cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, now we're talking about brains. I want to know something because
I don't have any. Sorry.
Blonde, right?
Yeah.
Spoken by a true drummer.
But listen, I'm very interested in we talked about the fact that you are playing the drums and you sing.
Yeah.
And talking and coordination is in the same part of the brain. And you seem to do it at the same time. I've seen you do it. You do it great. I mean, you're a great drummer and you're a great singer, but you do it all together.
Yeah.
And sometimes you play a steady beat, keep the beat, and it's groovy, and you sing something on top of it, which is totally different. How do you do that, and what is your practice routine in that?
Well, I thought about that for a long time, but I don't really want to get into that in a deep way of thinking, because actually for me it's all about feeling, you know. And when you studied, because I studied drums and I studied singing, I did that apart from each other and let them grow both at the same time, and then I try to combine it with each other, and then there's a little thing of talent and a little bit of feeling and know-how and fortunately for me, that worked for a
yeah.
great deal. You know, there's not really, there's not a kind of way I practice it, but it's just a lot of practice. So there's not just a way to nail it, but you really just practice till you're.
So it's like, you know, you're practicing a tune, for instance, you play in a groove, and in your studio, you're singing along with it or something, or you're singing the lines that you have to sing.
I just immediately try to practice it both with the total band.
Yeah.
And if it works out, then it's finished. If it doesn't work out, I try to really nail the drum part at first, because that has to be.
That's gotta be tight.
Steady, you know.
Yeah.
And then I try to sing the difficult parts, and I do it over and over and over and over again. It's really all about practice.
Practice and stamina.
Yeah.
And just making hours. I cannot explain it in any other way, because you can figure out where in timing something goes together and something is that's going their own ways.
Yeah.
For a drummer, you it's natural to check that out. Even with the drum part, you know, what goes together and what is apart from each other, and that's the same thing with drumming and singing.
It's basically
only in a
fifth
different
limb,
way,
right?
Yeah, it is absolutely. Yeah. So it's difficult. I realize there are not a lot of drummers who do lead vocal. There are a lot of drummers who do backing vocals.
Right.
But that's just ooh and ah, you know.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Well, you have a few. I mean, you had back in the day with, for example, it's a different style of music, but you had the Commodores, for example.
Yeah.
Clyde Orange was actually originally the lead singer.
Yeah.
From the Commodores before Lionel Richie started doing the little ballads. And became, he was the lead singer of the group, because he was doing the vocals on Brick House, you know, and those pieces like that. But and you've got a few female drummers that sing as well.
Sheila E. can do that as
Sheila
well,
E.
of course.
Well.
She's been in the business for ages now,
right.
you know.
No, exactly.
And Phil Collins, Don Henley.
Don Henley, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Karen Carpenter.
Yeah. Well, actually, she's one of the first female drummers.
Yeah.
Right. So you know, and that became especially popular back in that day, you know. But I mean, and I know in the rock world, you got quite a few female drummers coming up. That sing as
absolutely.
Well,
yes.
I'm
glad. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not just some female drummers. They're really, really good, and they're really they're really focused. Really focused, and really want to achieve something. And that's cool. That's cool.
Well, that's great. What's her name? Cindy Blackman, for example, was
wow. Yeah, man.
It's just,
she's really small. I met her once.
She's really small.
You know, she cracked the snare drum.
She has big hair.
It's unbelievable. She can really hit them hard.
But it's funny because everybody knows her as the drummer of Lenny Kravitz.
Right.
But she's an excellent jazz drummer.
Oh yeah.
She's fantastic jazz drummer. Yeah.
Same as Terry Lane Carrington.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That's another, also a singer, by the way.
Also a singer. Yeah. So it's like I said, once again, the business is really it's an added pleasure when you've got mixed bands. You know, I always I like working with a couple of females in the band, or combinations. Where you, because it only helps to balance the music, I think, as well, especially depending on the type of music you're playing, and it gives a little bit of an extra positive tension.
But it's different, and people like different, you know.
There's something for everybody there. There's something for everybody there. Listen, before we let you go, we'd like to know if you've had any kind of strange coincidences happen to you.
Never had any.
Sure you have.
I had. Actually, do we still have the time?
Yeah, go.
No, I thought about that, and I had actually, like 2 weeks ago, I had a gig, and I wear a headset while playing, because I don't like having a microphone hanging somewhere, you know, because it influences
Gets
on
on your playing.
Yeah, on my playing,
Okay.
and so I have a headset, but if I don't have to sing and I play. It's still on sometimes because I don't always do lead vocals. I do backing vocals as well.
Right.
And like 2 weeks ago, it happened that I just there was something in my throat and I had to cough very loud. But I was like, oh no, I have my headset on. I cannot cough because it would sound like you know through the whole thing. And so I tried to keep it in.
Tried to compress it.
And I was like. At the end, I just when the song finished, I have like a knob here
backpack,
to push it in, and then I was like, oh, and I was like, there were tears all over the place, and it was hilarious. And my band was like, what's happening? What's happening? So that kind of stuff happens, and then like in the audience, they're looking at like, there's something wrong. What's happening? And I was like turning red and stuff. So yeah, those are crazy things that happen.
Right.
Or I forget my in the beginning of my drumming career, I forgot to take my throne with me, so I was like, okay, and now, so I ended up sitting on a piece of a tree, because it was it was an outside gig.
Okay.
I was like sitting on a tree and playing. That's really funny, you know. That sort of stuff happens as well.
That can happen, yeah.
So yeah.
I had it with a rehearsal once.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I forgot my bass drum pedal.
Yeah.
It was in Friesland, so that's 2-hour drive or something. So I couldn't go back to get my bass drum pedal. But it was not music involved with a lot of bass drum pedals. So I was kicking the bass drum with my foot, so I set it up different. But it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. Well, you have to figure it out at that point.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's true. That's true. Well, I won't even start about something.
I know something about you. Yeah.
I won't even start about mine.
You can write a book, man.
Yeah, really. No, but listen, we really had a pleasure having you on the show. And,
Absolutely.
And nice to meet you after knowing you virtually, for so many years, and seeing your clips here and there, and but to meet you in person, and it was quite an enjoyable conversation, and spread the word of. Got to get a lot of people coming out here. Speaking of which,
course, sure.
If you want to know anything else about Sarah, please visit our webpage on Facebook, and that's the Rhythm Factory Podcast. And you can also write us if you're interested in either being on the show or you have questions about some of the artists that have been on the show. You can also write us at the Rhythm Factory Podcast at gmail.com. You can reach me on Twitter via @Jazzol. And Peter, you don't know, do you know?
Yeah, it's PB Department.
PB Department?
Department.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a Twitter.
At PD Department.
Yeah.
Right. That's his Twitter.
Yeah.
All right. Now, and you can also find us on, of course, LinkedIn and basically on Facebook as well. Anyway, that was it for this week, and we want to leave you with these words of wisdom, like I always try to do. And it is, doesn't matter what your color, what your creed, what your race, what your gender. It's all about how you bend it. Have a nice time, and we'll see you next time on the Rhythm Factory Podcast. Ciao. My name is Eddie C.